my name is Michele Carrozo. I'm an in-resident artist that teaches here. I teach here on Friday mornings from 10 o'clock to 12:30. I teach drawing principally, and then moving on to whatever medium a student would want. So if you came here to learn how to draw and you wanted to do oil paint or acrylic or watercolor, I will work with you as an individual basis. And I'd just like to show a couple of pieces of my work so you know who I am. Right here, these two paintings are oil on wood. This was inspired by Waterhouse, which was an artist in the 1890s. It sort of just incorporated his beautiful figurative work, and then I sort of added my own interpretation of it. And this is something that I have done. It's in progress. It's not finished yet. And I have been really interested in wooded areas, so I have been portraying that. And then this is the knot of the wood, and I put an eye here, so the all-seeing woods, that nature looks at us too. It's not just one way, us looking at nature. And today, I am really very excited to present what has been happening here for how long now? How long? 4 months? 4 months. Well, first I want to introduce you to Ron and his wife, Peg. Say hi. Hi. And something very exciting has happened. Ron has had a situation where he had a stroke, and he came a few months ago to take drawing lessons. Never drew before, is that correct? Yeah, but a great appreciation of art. And now Peg is going to share a little bit what it has meant for Ron to be here, because this is very exciting, I think, for the three of us. It's been an exciting adventure. So I'll turn it over to Peg.
Yes, Ron had a massive stroke in 2009, and they didn't give him a whole lot of hope for ever even walking again. The stroke took his right side, and he was a dominant right-sided person. He wrote, ate with his right hand, and so when that was lost, he had to re-educate the left side of his body. He's able to eat, of course, with his left hand, and he walks, he plays tennis, he takes physical therapy here, and he's doing remarkably well in that regard. But the miracle that's happened is that he never could even use his left hand to sign his name. He's now drawing still lifes, and now has come full circle with watercolor, which is quite an accomplishment. His work has come from elementary work of just barely able to draw circles to, in fact, we have that one example of a still life that he's done over there.
Well, may we show everybody what Ron started with? Very simple shapes. Circles, triangles, squares, the fundamental shapes of drawing. And Ron began this very simple. We started with garlic, lemons.
Okay, that's very simple. That's left-handed, though, for a person who never used their left hand before.
All right, this was a still life. As you can see, this is the knife. Ron here has accomplished learning about space, spatial dimension, and being able to utilize the entire paper rather than a lot of novices. They'll have a certain area to work with, and they'll work small. So Ron was learning to work with the paper and to have placement. This is another still life, and progressing from line work to tonal value, which some people would call shapes, dark, medium, and light. And he's learning how to place tonal values to make something more realistic. Once again, utilizing the whole paper. Excellent work. Let's see. And now I'm going to show you something that, this was last week, right? Wasn't it last week, Ron? This is a very difficult composition because it's a mirror image. So the mirror image is in the back. This is the mirror. Once again, utilizing the whole space and learning to separate and to utilize the whole page. And look at the line work. Very definitive, very controlled, able to manipulate his hand, where in the beginning, that was difficult for you to do. Even in the beginning, wasn't it difficult to use the eraser? And now there is no, Ron is able to erase, to go over his lines, to apply pressure, and that was a very difficult thing for him to do in the beginning. So this is a great, great improvement. So you've seen some of his drawing work, and then Ron is very, I'm speaking for you, but I hope I'm saying the right things. He's very ambitious. He works at home. He does sketches at home, does watercolor. He has actually set up a little studio for himself. And, you know, Peg always comes very enthusiastic about what this means. And so Ron has ventured from drawing, like any other student, into watercolor, which is, you know, if you know how to draw, you'll be able to paint. I always say, come and learn how to draw and stake to paint. And this is something that Ron, this is a watercolor. This is an Arches 300 cold press watercolor paper, which is very good paper. Usually professionals use this and not novices, but I think it's important because there's no warping. And so for anybody, there is no frustration about, you know, sometimes with watercolor, you'll get that in paper that's not that good. But look at this. This is gorgeous. This is beautiful. The use of color, the use of shape, the drawing is there. You can see the skill of the drawing has been applied to the watercolor. Yeah. And so this is not complete yet. This is something that what we do is we warm up with a still life for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then we go to this. So I think Ron has had great satisfaction in doing something that utilizes physical skill, mental skill, learning how to see things. So, and then this is also very exciting here, right? This is a study of Ron's house. So not only is he painting in studio, you're painting in outside. I would like to speak about the development. This is the first time Ron attempted to do his house. It's very difficult. It's not an easy thing for anybody. So again, the utilization of the entire paper, we're talking about line, tonal values, and then Ron would come in. And although I have not been in the house, I know a little bit about how light works. And so I would suggest where to look. Like for instance, the roof, I had mentioned to Ron that it might have tonal value and not all black. I also asked him to look at the landscape more and to look at the tonal values in the roof. So this is the second one, right? This is the second one. So you see the difference between the third one, excuse me, sorry. This, overtone. This is the second one. And Ron here addressed the landscape. Look at the shadow of the light coming on the chimney. So there was more tonal value, more visual acuity. So then I had mentioned, again, to look at the values again. And this is the third one that he's done. And with each one, there is definite improvement in the composition. So I just think that this is wonderful. And then this is a still life that Ron did at home. And notice the ability to control the pencil, to know the shape of the tonal value, to put that in clearly. And then transferring that to watercolor and doing a little watercolor painting. So I would like, Peg, you had mentioned at home how the development of Ron's hand has been in other areas of his life.
I think the small dexterity, using the small hand coordination has helped him with all aspects of his own personal care for himself. he's able to do many things because he's been able to use this left hand, which he is, it's been an extreme exercise for him to do these drawings. It would have been incomprehensible, say even 8 months ago, that he could do something like this. Incomprehensible that he could sign his name. Now he's able to sign his name not only legibly, but actually beautifully, because he's learning to draw.
Anything else?
It also is very soulful work for him. He loves it so much. He can't wait to get into his studio. It's a sunroom, and he's not supposed to, according to Michele, he shouldn't spend more than an hour on one of his drawings, but you have to, he'll say, okay, that's enough, and then he'll come back to it a half an hour later and continue, and so that it's always fresh instead of exhausting him. It's been a soul work for him, and for me to watch this happen for him.
So I guess what was important about today is just sharing this exciting news. It is exciting. It's exciting that anybody takes an art lesson. It's good for the soul, I say. It's good for your creative spirit. It's good for your visual acuity. It's good for every part of you. But we wanted to share, Ron, Peg, and I, we thought it was really important what was happening here, and to share with the community and to tell people what's happening, and that perhaps if there's somebody in a similar situation, that not to feel intimidated, to come and to do this, and to just to really improve one's well-being, you know. So and then Jill and I were also sharing, and about in the future this month, I will be starting to do small presentations on Channel 18 of drawing. And the first presentation will be about shapes and talking about the fundamentals of drawing. And if you can draw a circle, if you can draw a rectangle, if you can draw a triangle, you can draw. And that's my main, I guess, statement for anybody who always wants to draw, but I'm not talented, you know, but you can. So if you'd like that, demonstration will show that you too can draw and enjoy. I think that's about it. we thank you, and Ryan and Peg, I think we're having a great time.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for being with us.